Good morning, world.
That it bends as it enters a medium. There's a common analogy, which is to think of something like a car or a tank, where it turns a little bit while one side of it slows down before the other. And although it's a very visceral and memorable analogy, it's not like light has wheels, and it also tells you nothing about how to be more quantitative and derive the formula describing exactly how much light bends. Here's a better way to think about it. If you have some light wave shining into a material like glass, if it slows down, notice how that means that it gets kind of scrunched up. If its wavelength in a vacuum was some number lambda, then the wavelength inside this material, where it's gotten slowed down, is something smaller than that. Here I am drawing the wave only on a one-dimensional line, but we need to understand it in at least two dimensions, where every point on this plane, for example, is associated with a little vector in the electric field oscillating up and down. This particular animation is a little bit messy and hard to follow, so it might be clearer if instead we simply color every point of the plane such that those points are white near the crests of the wave and then black away from the crests. You can still clearly see the wavelength as the distance between these crests. It's exactly what we were looking at before, just drawn in a different way, and in particular notice how they're scrunched up inside the glass. If that glass were positioned at an angle, think about what happens to each one of those wave crests. As it hits the glass,
That might be
the lower
annoying.
parts slow down before the top parts, causing it to get sort of smeared out. It reminds me a little of the rolling shutter effect. And overall, the wave crest ends up at a different angle. When you take into account the fact that for a beam of light, the beam is always perpendicular to those wave crests, this means your light has to turn. And moreover, you can calculate exactly how much it needs to turn. Think about all those waves exactly wavelength lambda 1 between them. And focus on all the points where those crests intersect with the boundary between the vacuum and the glass. But then consider those wave crests inside the glass. If it was the case that no bending happened,
Good morning. I'm sorry, I took a shower, so my hands are red.
They would have to be closer together. But of course, that can't happen whether you're looking at it from one side or looking at it from the other. Those intersection points aren't the same. So the only way this can work
What happened to the mirror?
Inside the glass were oriented at a different angle. You might mentally imagine turning them with a little knob to find the sweet spot angle where all those intersection points line up. And for those of you into exercises, you can take a moment to try to write down the specific equation telling you how to relate the wavelengths inside and outside the glass with the angles between those wave crests and the boundary itself. If you do this, what you write down is effectively the same thing as Snell's law. You just have a
Mirror is
to
missing.
relate the relevant angles here.
Oh,
You
there
need
it
to note
is.
how the speed and the wavelength all depend on each other. To answer the other questions I want to get to, we're going to lean pretty heavily on the explanation from the main video. I'm mostly assuming that people here will have watched that, but here's a quick recap of the key points. When we talk about a light wave slowing down in a material, what's really going on is that its interaction with each layer of that material slightly kicks back the phase of the wave. Now, a continuous sequence of infinitesimal phase kicks like this produces something that's mathematically identical to a wave that's just traveling slower. The actual mechanism for that phase kick is that the incoming light wave causes the charges in the material to oscillate a little bit. Those oscillations produce their own propagation in the electromagnetic field. And when you add together this newly induced wave,
I hate eye crusties in the morning. They suck.
in the region of space past that layer, the sun looks just like a copy of that original wave, but shifted back a little. The last key point is that if you want to know the size of that phase
This is a
shift,
micro
which
stream.
is what
It will
determines
work.
the index of refraction,
Oh,
the charges in the
I want it to
material
work.
as simple harmonic oscillators bound to some equilibrium position with a linear restoring force. What we found is that the amplitude of oscillation when you shine a light on a charge like this will depend on how close the frequency of that light is to the resonant frequency associated with this spring-like restoring force. Or, to put it shortly, the index of refraction depends on how much the light resonates with charges in the material. As an example of one phenomenon that this explanation helps us to understand, let's take a question asked by Dan Stock, which is, what causes birefringence? So this is a phenomenon where a material has two distinct indices of refraction, which has the effect of making you see double when you look through it. Imagine you have some kind of crystal structure such that the ions in that structure will have some restoring force when you pull them in one direction, which is distinct from the restoring force when you pull them in another direction. That is, the resonant frequency for oscillations in one direction is distinct from the resonant frequency from oscillations in another. What that means is if you shine some light through this material, then because the index of refraction depends on resonance, the value of that index of refraction will be different for light that's oscillating up and down than it will for light that's oscillating side to side. That is, it depends on the polarization of the light. And this really happens. The example you're looking at right now is calcite. And when you're seeing double, it's
You can't
because
see it
light
right
with
now.
one polarization is getting bent at a different rate than light with the other polarization. For those of you who watched the videos about the Barber pole effect, a very similar phenomenon answers the final question that we left there. If you didn't watch those, feel free to jump ahead, but if you did, you might recall that where we left off was with the claim that sugar causes right-handed circularly polarized light to travel at a slightly different speed from left-handed circularly polarized light. The reason that mattered is that it meant linearly polarized light, which can be expressed as a sum of those two, will slowly rotate over time as one of those two components lags behind the other. Once you understand that an index of refraction depends on resonance, you can start to see why something like this might happen. If the molecular structure of sucrose was one such that electrons might get pushed along a path with a clockwise component more freely than they get pushed along paths with counterclockwise components, well, that would mean that the resonance with right-handed circularly polarized light would be a little different from what it is for left-handed circularly polarized light, and hence the indices of refraction would be slightly different for each one. When you combine this together with the fact that the resonance depends on the frequency of the light, which is to say, it depends on the color, this ultimately explains why the optical rotation in that Barber pole effect separated out the colors the way that it did. Now, one example of a shape that would resonate differently with left-handed and right-handed circularly polarized light would be a helix.
The cat, man, I swear.
They want to
As
pick up on
always.
radio waves with just one-handedness. Although sucrose is not so clean and pure an example as a helix, the key property is that it is chiral, meaning it's fundamentally different from its mirror image, in that there's no way to reorient it in 3D space to make it look like its mirror image. I will not pretend to know why this particular structure resonates with one-handedness more than another, but at least in principle, it makes sense that chirality would lend itself to this phenomenon. And finally, to wrap things up, let's hit what might be the most intriguing question of them all, which is how the index of refraction can be lower than 1, since what that seems to imply is that the speed of light through a medium would be faster than the speed of light. So this really does happen, and it's not as wild as you might think. If you think back, everything in our discussion arose from how a layer of material can kick back the phase of a wave. There is no reason that the layer of the material can't also kick forward the phase of that wave. And when you have many
Alright, I
successive
geeked y'all out
layers,
enough. I'm sorry. Make some breakfast here. Do. Let's make breakfast. Leave the wall for 5 seconds. First things first. Some eggs. Eat healthy. Way to go. Limited time. Two eggs. Over easy. This is called taking care of yourself. Of course, we got our Mandarin. Wait, I'm gonna geek y'all up some more because I'm trying to finish this episode.
Are you going to let the greedy heating companies and their crazy high prices decide if your family is allowed to stay warm this winter?
All kicking forward the phase like this, it gives the illusion of a wave that's traveling
Okay.
faster than the speed of light, in the sense that those gusts genuinely are moving faster than c. In fact, when you unpack the math underlying all of this, whenever the key amplitude expression that we wrote down is smaller than 0, that corresponds to an index of refraction smaller than 1. So, in particular, if the frequency of the light, omega sub L, is bigger than the resonant distance
If you
of
just
our
got here.
oscillator, you have this effect. For
Hi.
example, when you shine an X-ray
What's
through
up?
glass, the index of refraction really is smaller than 1. There is no contradiction with causality here.
Some
It's
strawberries.
worth taking a moment to reflect on the role played by the speed c in all of this explanation. C is the speed determining how long it takes for an accelerating charge to induce a force on any other charge. Even if there's
Something's up with these strawberries. They're not very sweet for some reason.
Index of refraction bigger
I don't
than
know
1
why.
or less than 1, that amount of time that it takes for the influence
Okay.
of one charge to reach
Like the
another
sweetness
is
is missing.
always the distance between them divided by c. By contrast,
Right.
the speed that's relevant to an index
Strawberries.
of refraction is how fast the crest of one of
Like I
those
said, you
waves
gotta
is
eat
moving.
healthy.
This is known as the phase velocity. That phase velocity is what determines how much the wave gets scrunched up, which in turn determines how much it refracts or bends. Which is one of the reason I think it's very good terminology to call
Take
this
notes
the
now,
index
right?
of
See what I'm
refraction
eating.
rather than, say, the index of slowing. In general, the electric field inside a medium-length
Okay.
glass is this
Then,
incredibly complicated
Always
sum
have
of
some
a
cheese.
bunch of propagating influences from every one of the windward charges in that material.
I think I need to get a new pan.
Light wave. But importantly, all of those individual propagations are traveling at
'Cause-
c, never slower, never faster. It is miraculous
This one's
that the way that
sucking.
these combined can be described simply at all.
Spray it.
It's not
It's
some
stiff for some
monstrous
reason.
mess. But we are fortunate
get it.
and we add them all up. The effect can't be described cleanly, but it looks just like a sine wave. One whose
Well, that damn
happens to
egg
be
yolk
different
broke,
from C.
didn't it?
Another thing to keep in mind, if it seems very weird for these wave gusts to move faster than c, is that everything in this explanation depends very heavily on things being in a steady state. That's very different from, say, trying to send information through a medium with a little pulse of light. This is what Mithina explores in her videos on the index of refraction over on Looking Glass Universe, which you should definitely look at. Over there, she talks about how when you express a pulse of light from some level of pure sound waves, even if the phase velocities of those constituent components go faster than c, that doesn't necessarily imply that the center of mass of this pulse will itself go faster than c. In fact, when you simulate the effect of passing through a medium, when the index of refraction is less than 1, what you find is a pulse that goes slower than c, even
trying
if
to
the
flip
crests within it are going faster.
Oh, y'all are doing
If
that thing
still
again,
seems
huh?
a bit weird, here's an analogy to help see why phase velocity can be way higher than the speed of anything real. Imagine a little machine that has a bunch of rotating arms, all extending from a shared shaft.
Well, at least that egg yolk didn't break.
From the side, the tip of one of those
I like them
arms
over
looks
easy.
like a wave, with crests traveling from right to left. What if I go and reposition the arms to be angled quite close to each other? Then you can make it so that the phase velocity of this emergent wave is arbitrarily high, potentially faster than the speed of light or anything else, even when the shaft is rotating at a gentle, constant rate, even when every component of the machine is moving at a reasonably slow pace. Here, it's pretty obvious that such a machine doesn't violate the rules of physics, and it doesn't let you send messages faster than light, because the wave crest is not
Scared
a
to bring my
It's
fucking
not something
their
you
lunch
can
to
carry
work,
information
so I don't
or
wait.
illusion. The phase
Don't make
velocity
lunch
of a
here.
wave is similar. Sure, if you shine an X-ray
I'm comfortable yet.
it is true that the wave crest goes faster.
Making my lunch and taking it to damn work.
Between electric charges,
Well,
values in the first place.
Don't prove to me.
All by the speed c.
I can't even trust to bring my own lunch to fucking work. 5:11 already. It's getting later. Ain't it? Okay, let's go back to the table.
At Marshalls, our buyers hustle every day to get you great deals
Quickly. Quickly. I'm just keeping his door open and closed. Yeah, I know these aren't good for you, but what's keeping the door from shutting? An egg carton. I know these aren't supposed to be good for you. I do it. So fucking tired. I don't even give a shit. Mm-hmm. Some ghost pepper. Whoop, whoop. A fork would help. This will wake my ass up. Do something funny. I did an experiment with light yesterday. I wanted to test something out. And I think it helped. You know, when I downloaded everything, it's that experiment with light we were working on. Right? It didn't work as great as I thought it would. I'll go into more detail later on. I'll try it again later when I get off work. Yeah, the strawberries for some reason aren't really sweet. I don't know what the deal is. Yeah, me. I said, eggs and newspapers wake my ass up. I hope everybody's having a great morning or a great evening. Being safe. The world is going a little bit chaotic. Is okay. Not really, though. Lots of people, it seems, are getting hurt. Not good. I wrote something down, like I said, and I hope it doesn't happen like it did yesterday morning. Remember when I said Earth? Waniac! It's been a hot minute. What's up? I haven't seen you on here in a while. I've been working my ass off. I had to work New Year's Day. Can you believe this shit? It's okay though. I actually got out in time to see the daylight. I was like, I see the daylight. I hope things slow down for this place. Been camping. I see you've been busy. Oh yeah, I'm busy. Work. I'm gonna try to make time for the streaming, for everybody else that like watch and support and just hang out. I try, but you don't always get your way. So, dude, like for 4 days in a row, last week, 11 and a half hours. Then yesterday, we ended up getting out, I think 4 or something. I've been there since 7 a.m. yesterday. And today, I do believe it's back to 11 and a half hours today, Wednesday, and Thursday. Yeah, it's keeping me busy, all right. For some, other people out there, no more crap people. Oh, yeah. Yeah. But surprisingly, traveling this little car I have, you put, I swear, $10 to $15 in the tank. It's full. Not kidding. Well, damn. That's it? It cost me less money than traveling in that van I have. That's just, if I took the van to Tennessee, it would have cost me close to $150 to $200 in gas. Even though I have more room, in the long run, it would have cost me more money. But it took me $80 to drive from here to Tennessee. Oh, 3/4 of the tank. Oh. But yeah, $80 there and $80 back. Not bad, considering I could have used the van and paid $150 there and $150 back. So yeah, the travel thing, we had to stuff everything in the trunk. And in the end, my mother, she got a Keurig, right? I was like, well, we already got a coffee pot. $265. Nice. So when we visited my son, I was like, well, let's just give them this as a gift. Otherwise, someone's going to sit with a coffee thing in their lap the entire drive. Funny, right? Because the car is little, even though it's good on gas. Oh, excuse me. It's so good to take it somewhere and not have to worry about spinning an arm and a leg in the tank. Need a car, Gary? No. Ooh. I gotta get my socks on and shoes. Oh. But yeah, I ended up giving it to the staff down there. I was like, I'm sorry, Mom. Don't tell Grandma we gave her the Keurig she gave us. I got to be in by 7, but I try to get out here a little earlier because the roads, it's like been rainy and snowy and stuff. And like the last time I was driving in that, I stopped and I just couldn't stop sign. So I want to make sure I make it there safely. Right, world? Safely. Not with somebody sitting up there with their lights completely off in the middle of median. And a truck behind me and another car going the same speed almost. Yeah, that's not cool, dude. Don't do that. It's not right. Winter here mix, yeah. It's like 20 something degrees outside right now. I gotta go warm up the car. Now, the only thing I didn't like about the car, perfect weather, is the lock. Locks on you. You can't open it when it's freezing weather. Like it just, the lock when you put the key in completely freezes over. So I had to dump hot water on it just to unlock the door. It makes no sense. I don't understand why it does that. But it does. It's the only problem I have with it. Do they have that? Defrost everything. Probably. I did notice up here everybody has like a brush attached to a skyscraper, a long one, in their cars, which I do not have. Which I probably should buy. I'm still not used to this stuff. Okay. Post it in Discord. I gotta get socks on and shoes. Alright, socks, check. My nose runny, check. Gotta blow my nose. Always seems colder than it should be. I don't know why. Alright. So, I think I'm wearing boots because I'm wearing leggings. Yeah. And let me just say, I wear these leggings, right? I mean, these boots right here. Because these are the most comfortable fucking boots I have. Like, the comfortablest, more comfortable boots when at work. You got movement in them. You can move around. Your feet feel like they're kind of free, you know, because it's cloth. It's nice. Yeah, keep warm. The things we do for our damn kids, dude. Oh, wear Crocs. Actually, they say we're not allowed to wear Crocs in there. I wonder why. I can see why. You could probably trip on something wearing them. Too fast in the reward. Hey, you never know. You just never know. I'm about to go do some stretching real quick too. Do the splits real quick. Whoop! Yeah, right. Almost. Almost complete splits. Not fully. Gotta stretch out them hips. Don't forget the coffee mug. Oh, I actually didn't make coffee this morning. I wasn't in the mood. Usually I do, but just was not in the mood. Is what we stick with today. God, I hope I'm not right about something. It's one of them visionary thingies, you know. You're having your coffee now. Trust me, you're gonna have to wake the fuck up for this job. Oh, what the fuck I time? Oh yeah. I'm not saying it's bad. It does take a toll on your ass. Stay out of the tools, Tails. Tails and tools. Well, what are you doing, Tails? Eating more food, of course. Shit. Oh, shit. I should. I have to go start the car. Be right back. There's a sweater weather. Right? My hair's wet. That don't help either. Let's see if I can at least unlock it. If I can't unlock it, I have to dump hot water in the damn keyhole again. Serious? I have to dump hot water on the keyhole again. The key won't even go in the keyhole. This is so stupid. Come on, get hot already. It would take forever to heat up the hot water. on. See what I mean? The key won't. It's frozen shut. Alright. Let's put down some hot water on the motherfucker. Crazy. I'm gonna dump hot water on the thing. Too cold to work. Stocking up for the long day. Well, lucky. Let me go out here and not freeze a lot. Brr! Brr! Cold! Cold, 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 cold. Who's cold? Who's cold? First is that the sightseer? Okay, great. I'm missing something here. That. Fuck me, fuck a do. Where is my lipstick? Hey, it's cold out there. Oh well, we stuck with pink. Pink will do. But I think the red is actually in the car. The red lipstick. We stuck with pink. What woman does not have red lipstick in their car? Actually, it's usually in my pocket. Not at work or anything, but yeah, Barbie pink. But in my pants pocket, you know. I'm gonna let the dog outside of the bathroom too. Come on, Duke. Now, I noticed the dog, my dog, loves the snow. Like, he will go out there and eat it. Isn't that funny? Yeah, that's the kind of dog I have. He'll go out there and eat the snow. Okay, this concludes the micro stream. Much hugs to everybody out there. Have a great day. Be safe, world. Be safe. Holy mollies. There's a lot of stuff going on out there. Hi, Winnie. If her nose don't stop running first.